Greetings, I am Lies.
And I am Scandal.
And let's
clutch
our foreheads together! Yay!
Whack!
Ow. Oh, hi.
Okay, she clutches her forehead again, and just, God, don't stand up so fast after hurting yourself.
Oh.
Well, I guess it's too late now. Frickin' idiot. God, anyway, let's go.
Without the crayons or any supplies of any kind at all.
Yep, fuck it. I just want to be done. Please.
You know what? This activity was so bad and went off so poorly, we're just not even gonna do it.
We're not, you know what? It's fine. We just don't need to do it. It's okay. I follow Sayori out of the classroom. Sayori plays with her bangs to try to hide the bump without much success. In a moment, we make it back to the club room.
And we just leave a box of crayons spilled, some, but only slightly spilled now on the floor, because we did comment, oh, at least you got them mostly unspilled, and then we just left them there.
Yep, and then that's all we did. I'm like,
that's
what
amazing.
Do we have? I will actually laugh, though, if we go in the room, and they're like, we have all the supplies.
We went to another room and got all the supplies while we were waiting for you, because you took a really long time.
Yep, or something. Who knows? Alright.
You're back. Good timing. I was just about ready to start sharing out poems. Interesting that you didn't come back with anything in your hands, like no supplies of any kind. I was kind of expecting that you'd have some. Sayori, your forehead.
She's fine. Don't worry about.
I was playing with the crayons and smacked my forehead into the shelf. It's okay though. It's really fine. It's no big deal. But it's like I think the bangs cover it pretty well, to be honest.
Don't let anyone know my shame, apparently. Like, I'm actually kind of confused about why, if like, your main character really doesn't like Sayori very much, why they're also so defensive of Sayori, going, you reflect badly on me all the time. Is this literally, like, a weird association, or going, oh, look, it's your main character and Sayori all the time, hanging out together, ever since they were little children. Like, is this the problem?
It could be that people know you're associated, and it also, in this club, they do, because it's Sayori brought you, her
into
friend.
The club, yeah.
So people know you guys are involved, and the level of you guys seem to be aware of each other in the school environment, at least. So there could be some other awareness of how long you and Sayori have known each other. Plus, Sayori might talk about it or have talked about it when she first suggested that she'd help you join the club.
Yeah.
Or bring you to join the club, whatever.
Or something.
Anyway, were you able to find everything we needed? You know, the poster board, the paints, the crayons, the glue, the tape, maybe some sparkles, the construction paper. I have it right.
Sayori frantically glances around herself.
At my shoes, at my hands, at my butt, at feeling all of my pockets.
Okay,
no.
I genuinely need to ask sometimes where this, like, I get what they're going, no, she's so cute, she's so absent-minded. And I'm like, honestly, even when I was a kid, I found this character trope exhausting.
Yes.
Like, this trope, like, where I get, she's cute, she's soft, and I feel really bad for her. And it's like, okay, well,
she's disorganized, she's depressed, she's like airheaded.
Except for the fact that they never had them as depressed. Nope. They were just airheaded and goofy and silly and,
I can't keep track of anything. I have never met a person that has just not non-medical problems with their memory and their organization that isn't stressed and unhappy.
Yeah.
Like, it is a trope in, games and stories and stuff like that. But in my real life, I have never met a person who's mentally disorganized and can't remember things and can't keep track of things and can't prioritize any of their own stuff that even they care about that isn't stressed and overwhelmed.
Yeah. Like, I also think it's interesting, at least in the context of this, of going, if Splat's going to literally go off on Sayori, and then, sorry about that, I had to get rid of something, it is quite literally, well, why wouldn't Splat point out that we had nothing that we went for?
I say there's a level of hanging Sayori out to dry here, I feel.
Yes.
Of going, I went with you, you were doing this task, and I went with you. So I'm not accountable if the task doesn't get done correctly. You are. So when we stand up to leave, it was Splat's impetus going, okay, we're done here now. Let's get out of here before you hurt yourself again, basically. And it's like, you didn't bring anything with you. Now, in some games, they just then go, yeah, now we have all the supplies. And it's been super irritating when you're like, you literally didn't bring them. But in this case, they actually kept it consistent. And I like that you don't actually have them. But it is sort of I feel like it's very much Splat waiting for Sayori to fail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of terrible. Sayori frantically glances around herself.
I forgot all the stuff. I mean, the one thing that we got, the crayons. I mean, we didn't get anything when we went at all, did we?
Calm down, Sayori. I have it all right here.
How did you do that?
Because the narrative allows me to be better than you.
Oh no, I knew you were good.
No, I'm just better.
Which is an awareness that you have of yourself, and I admire that you have such a strong sense of personal character, and by that I mean good self-esteem of being aware of your skills.
So anyway, Monica, I'm better organized than this person over here. I found the poster paper too. When the fuck? I'm sorry, I'm fine. I actually get annoyed by this trope sometimes too, because I've also seen them do it in anime as well. The character going, oh no, I forgot it, and the other character going, I have it all. And you're like, you literally didn't have it!
Yes. Not only did we see you walking without it, because it wasn't stored in because it was apparently stored in your anime pocket, but you then had no time to grab it. So I complimented the game too early, because Splat, unless we're supposed to basically say, it took Sayori so long to organize herself going, ow, with her head after she stood up too quickly, that Splat then turned around, grabbed every possible supply we could need, and then held them while Sayori was like, I will focus on my bangs and my hair and myself, and talked to you and walked down the hallway without noticing that you were carrying all of it. But also an experience of going, why, if we're in Splat's head, if we're being, if we're in this character space and we're sharing what they know and their experience of judging other people, interpreting other people, interacting, what Splat thinks, why would we not, I grab the stuff and follow Sayori out of the room?
Yes.
Like, that would have been real easy to do that. So if they did that on purpose, rather than as just a conventional trope of we just assume it happened and it's fine, I would be interested to what end, like they're building us up to, of we can just do stuff that the reader is not included in.
Right.
But that. Anyway.
Anyway, I found the poster paper too.
So here's what I was talking about with Sayori's illustration though earlier. So when Sayori was sitting down on the ground, and I said there was a real strong exaggeration of her clothes under her breasts.
Yeah, there's
really not a strong shelf, specifically with her lapels and her sweater, that just happens normally. And when she was sitting on the ground, even with her back very straight and her chest still supported instead of hunching down, they suddenly just tucked everything in, vacuum sealed it real tight for the viewer, and that was an interesting choice.
Yes, because it is. In regards to doing art, guess what? It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Aha!
Sounds like you ended up doing all the work, Splat, which means that I can appreciate you, and I can tell you you're amazing, and I can ignore Sayori and bond with you, because I can have a moment of telling you how great you are, and you know that I recognize the value of you, and that Sayori is exactly what you say she is, but like basically in the spirit of female competition, women versus women, and just cutting each other's throats for, social progress, I just would like to say that you carried this entire thing so that I can just, take Sayori's feet out from under her and maybe move in a little closer to a positive space with you.
Well, Sayori, she is kind of a mess. I failed to come up with an excuse for Sayori because
I don't care.
I don't care. God, I'm so tired.
I made it an adventure by getting myself injured and making Splat go and find, supplies to take care of me and then rescue me. It became a whole entire story. I could write a tiny novel about it.
Here's my tiny asshole question. Now that you said people magically just have supplies, where the fuck's the apple juice?
Yes, that is a good question.
So I hate when sometimes people start doing stuff like this for me, because it's just like, okay, so you've already established this ridiculous impossible thing, so then what happened to this other ridiculous impossible thing?
So what happened was Sayori hopped up off the ground, dropping the apple juice because she put her hands to her head. It bounced on the floor, but she didn't notice because she was focused on her head, and Splat literally did not care, and you left a half-full apple juice in a spilled box of crayons in another classroom.
Except that we also have all the supplies we need, so we still have the crayons?
Or we got a different box of crayons off the shelf and left those there. So I'm wondering about that, because that says each of those two different options would give a different character narrative for Splat. One, I clean up the crayons and collect them and get the other additional supplies, and also either throw away the apple juice or bring it with, or just leave it there. I just leave the crayons on the floor, leave the apple juice on the floor, grab shit, and go after her.
Right.
Like, they all create different experiences for Splat's level of caring about the environment around them.
Yeah.
And whether any level of, like, attentiveness they have. But specifically, like emotional care. Any sense of duty or connectiveness to their environment. Of going, I shouldn't leave trash in other classrooms. Or shouldn't leave things a mess.
Yep. And I gotta say, this is really interesting. Especially, like, where, again, to me, I'm like, I really do think the game is supposed to be trying to make you dislike Sayori. I hate to say it, but it's really that thing of going, she's absent-minded, she's silly, she's stupid. All the other characters dislike her.
And the other girls are not as, like, they are catty with each other, but there is a level of intensity towards sort of joining you with Sayori, or just letting you bag on Sayori real aggressively and just kind of being like, that's happening.
Yep, that's a thing. An adventure. Yeah, that. Because, she's 5.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've known plenty of grown-ass people who, when we used to be able to have, gas be cheaper in the United States, it was nice to just be like, let's go have an adventure. Let's just go drive around. Like, that's a thing that you would just do.
Let's take the scenic route. It's okay if we get lost. We got plenty of time.
There's nothing wrong with... I'm fine.
Making it an adventure?
Yeah, that!
Except for it's different making it an adventure when you're in the time for a club in a time slot.
Yes.
So, like, I went to the store after work and got lost on the way home, and, now I get there, and, we kind of had an adventure. We saw the scenic route, saw a different part of town, drove through the orchards, whatever, and then you just put the groceries away as normal.
Yes.
But I went to go get, like, in this case, supplies for the club meeting that we're supposed to use during the club meeting that's in a scheduled time slot. That is a very different experience. And for me, respecting scheduled time frames is really important. If you've scheduled a meeting room, if you've scheduled the usage of something, even if it's like you've scheduled a pavilion in a park. So there's an experience in one of the towns that I've lived in where they had really big park culture, like outdoor, like playground and park culture.
Right.
And they would have pavilions with like tables and things like that. And you could call like the Parks and Recreation Department and actually reserve one of them. And you could always first come, first serve, use them. But if you didn't actually reserve them, whoever had reserved them would take priority, but it was only for the time slot they reserved.
Yes.
And it was a free, public service. So it wasn't like people were paying for it. It wasn't anything like snooty.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a courtesy service of going, hi, I've actually reserved this space. Other people who are here, could you please move over, kind of thing.
Right.
But like, if you go, well, my party's just going on longer, and someone else like, no, you're done and it's our time slot, you need to be done or move it somewhere else.
Yes.
Anyway. Okay. In any case, because Sayori does make so many things such an adventure, I'm sure her bringing you to this club was quite an adventure in and of itself. Good work to you, Splat. Just you. You did such a good job. I'll start working on the posters tonight and not during club at all, because we just won't have as much time as we might have otherwise. But I'm going to do all the work myself because Sayori clearly can't handle it. So the, Vice President and I, we're not going to coordinate on this, but I will do it.
I also going, just Monica alone, the VP isn't going to help at all?
And nobody else is going to be involved, even though they're all supposed to be involved in the club activity?
Yeah.
Now, I understand people can volunteer for specific activities within a club or within, delegating labor out, going, I'll do this part, I'll do that part, I'll do the other part. And it can be like, but one of you is going to make the food, clearly, one of you is then going to do the posters. But it can be really helpful to be collaborative, especially in an event that's not really clearly defined, so that you can sort of define it over the project you're doing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've done before is when people don't really know what they want, like say if you're trying to help, your young relative like plan a party or something or figure out what they want, or you're doing daycare or like, tutoring or something with someone and they're like, God, I want this thing, but I don't know what it should look like. helping them create supplies for it or interacting with it in any way can help them define what it would look like and also inspire ideas. So having a poster like activity, group activity could actually add a lot to your literature event.
Yeah, just a bit. All right, start.
On the other hand, people do it that way sometimes. Me too. Oh, you're also going to do posters. All right. Monica doesn't seem to agree. Right. Okay.
She doesn't even
everyone.
acknowledge it or deal with it.
But there's that pause. I'm gonna do posters too. Okay, everyone.
Wow, that is like, I am not even going to engage with you. I'm like,
nope.
Whoa.
Wow.
Okay, all right. But the thing is that makes me kind of laugh is that I swear I've seen that before, and I am kind of wondering, again, like, so we keep having, at least to me, this level of expectation of going, it's supposed to be subversive. This game is supposed to be subversive. So I'm going like, are they actually then really, truly going to deal with the fact that that's been a shitty behavior in anime that they've done a lot?
Yeah.
Actually, where somebody go, I'm going to be helping too, and nobody acknowledges, nobody interacts with it, nobody talks about it.
And sometimes there's that long pause of like, and then you just immediately go to something else, like, not gonna acknowledge that statement at all.
But I mean, I've also seen it in real life too, where
yeah.
people are like, I'm gonna do this too, and they're like, and we got this thing over here. Like, we're done with this. We already figured out what we were gonna be doing. Great.
I've actually seen that in meetings before where somebody's like, we need volunteers for such and such activity, and then you'll be like, 1 or 2 volunteers, I got it, and then someone else going, oh, me too. And then instead of going, we've got the number of volunteers we need, because they say we need 2, and then a third person's like, I'll do that as well. They're just like, and next we need this thing. And there's kind of this like sort of social dismissal of it, like I'll look at you sort of like, And what we're doing now is...
Going like, you clearly aren't listening, paying attention, whatever else. And some people are just like, that's, a really good thing I could do. Or, again, in our situation, which I think I remember what you're talking about for some of the stuff that would happen, you'd be like, some people are really fucking tired, and yeah, they just don't hear it. It's fine, it happens.
There can also be a level of going, but that thing is the thing I feel like I'd be best suited to, so having 3 people on it wouldn't be a problem.
Right?
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to share your poems?
Oh, God, guess I should grab mine.
You better put down all that stuff first.
After making sure the crayon box is closed tightly, I return to my seat, but just the crayon box, because fuck everything else. I mean,
the markers, the glue, the glitter.
Nah.
Here's a question, though. Is that the same crayon box that we supposedly cleaned up off the floor, or is it a different crayon box? Because usually classrooms have more than 1 copy of supplies.
I don't
And I'm
know.
just going to make sure this crayon box is closed tightly because I'm not going to be like Sayori.
Maybe. I have no idea.
All right.
I return to my seat.
Because my poem is in my
Oh my
seat.
God, we're gonna do this again?
We're gonna do it again!
Who should I show my poem to first?
I feel like, given whose spot it is, it would still be like, go into the head of club first. You said we're doing this activity, so I'll show you my poem.
Sure, why not? Let's go.
And does that sound reasonable?
Like the thing is that I'm just like Splat going, why the fuck are we doing this? That's basically, and also let alone me going, we really are just gonna walk through this. And you'll have to forgive me, I don't know what we're leading up to, so this seems incredibly long.
It seems a bit inane.
Who should I show my poem to first? All right, Monica, let's
So
do
you
it.
announce that we are showing our poems, so I will bring you my poem,
I
because
know.
that is what you have announced.
Yay! And everyone will wait for me.
And everyone else
Perfect.
will stand there and not share their poems with each other and not do anything else but watch while you share your poem with Monica. Hi again, Splat. Didn't I just say we were gonna share poems with whoever we wanted to?
Yeah.
Do you really want to share your poem with me first?
No, not really. I don't really care. I'm just giving this to you because you're the loudest one right
Well,
now.
how's the writing going? Is it better this time?
No.
Did you have a more positive experience?
No. Alright, I guess. So,
I'll take that. All right, I guess it's just fine. As long as it's not going to be bad. So your experience can be neutral to good at all times, and so long as it's not bad, I'm satisfied with my performance.
Yeah, you are so forgiving for a bunch of bullshit. I can't believe it.
I'm happy that you're applying yourself, because, and by that I mean that you wrote a poem at all, because writing another poem suggests that you've applied yourself, and by that I mean it suggests that you participated, which is more than you usually do when you're not having fun, based on a good, our friend Sayori's interpretation of you.
Yeah, you know you can't trust Sayori, or literally anyone, and that includes you.
Oh,
So-
well, maybe soon you'll come up with a masterpiece. Even if you don't really enjoy the activity, if you keep doing it, you get better at it anyway.
Whatever I'm doing without direction and feedback and anything else, and also without a goal in mind, I literally will never be able to change anything. Actually, I've always found that to be really frustrating, where they're like, no, soon you'll be able to do a thing. If you literally don't give me a thing to write towards, how can I write a masterpiece of that thing?
And the thing is there isn't really a generic masterpiece in that way.
Yep.
So it's really is like, and practice is way better if it's deliberate practice, if it's focused. Like, we're doing a specific style of poem, we're doing a specific, like, function of literature, we're doing a specific intention kind of thing.
Wasn't that like a part of basically the 4-Minute Chef? Where the 4-Minute Chef, where the guy talked about doing intensive, deliberate types of practice.
So what you're doing is you're breaking down the skills that you need to, it's a 4-Hour Chef.
Oh, 4-Hour Chef.
And so basically, the 4-Hour Chef is a really cool book by...
Tony...
No. I'm not going to remember his name right now, as I say,
fine.
but he also has the 4-Hour Work Week, and basically he's got a lot of things that are about deliberate practice, and I'll probably come up with his name as soon as we're done with this episode. So there we go.
Yay!
I'll say, but I'll try and link to it, because sometimes we're not good at labeling our videos with what links we want to put in them, but we try.
And if you ever want us to share or talk about something, or share like a link to something that we talked about, please feel free to ask us.
We will go grab it immediately. Be like, where's the link for whatever? And we will show you, and we will also put it in the description. Anyway, I'll say, but basically all of the skills that you have in your life are actually a collection of smaller skills. So like, if you're trying to learn to write poetry, it's a collection. First you have to figure out what kind of poetry, because there's like, poetry is a huge fucking general category.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, and then if you figure out what kind of poetry, like either whether it's, rhyming, whether it's haikus, whether it's in a particular, style, or like metering kind of thing, then you can focus in on that, as well as if you want like a certain atmospheric feel to it or whatever. And then you break down what skills are required for that, whether it's like a better vocabulary, whether it's better syllabic understanding, or various different things like that, and then you work on those specific skills by themselves. It's easier to describe with things that are physical skills more than intellectual skills. Sort of like if you're trying to learn to play guitar, you practice specific fingering,
right?
And just practice that one kind of fingering hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times until you're really good at it, and then you put it in with other stuff. But if you just practice full-on songs, you're not getting as much individual focus practice, and therefore you can't build as much skill on your individual separate skills that build a bigger skill if you don't do that small piece of deliberate practice.
Right. Absolutely.
Anyway.
Okay, well, so in the next one, I suppose we might have come up with
a masterpiece!
Or something we will.
Masterpiece theater.
Oh my god, I haven't thought about that for a while. So if you like what we do, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and also please feel free to share our videos if you're having a good time with us. Also at the same time too, if you'd like to support us more directly, please feel free to go check out our Ko-Fi or Patreon. We've got some links in the description down below. And I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies.
And it was great playing with you. Bye!